Hi everyone, it's Hatsy and I'm back with a brand new build video, and this time we are going to be building the Beauty and the Beast's castle. So this is the most requested thing on the channel at the moment. Wow, my comment section at the moment is going crazy. If I type in the Beauty and the Beast castle, it pretty much just like freezes out because there's so many requests. And I built this about 2 weeks ago, and well, what happened was I put pictures on Twitter and stuff, and even after I put them, I got comments like, when are you going to share it? Like, when should we be expecting it? And stuff like that. So yeah, here it is. This is the best I could do out of a bad situation. Now, I don't mean to be nasty to the Sims. However, this was a nightmare to build, and we have so many swells and stuff in this movie version. It's very hard for me to build something like that, but I try my best. I mean, you could say that it's inspired by the Beauty and the Beast castle, but yeah, I mean, hopefully you'll see the resemblance by the end. But yeah, I really tried. If you want to have a go yourself, go ahead. I'd love to see your attempts, and there we go. So anyway, I had the craziest day going to go and see the Beauty and the Beast movie, which I want to talk about for a second. But if you don't want to listen, if you're not interested and you're here for the build, then what I've done is I've put a playlist in the description of the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, so you can listen to that if you want to, just a suggestion. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk about the craziest day I had. So this was Saturday 2 weeks ago, and I had to go and get my passport renewed. This does link in with the story, but basically I had to go to Peterborough to go and get my passport name changed because I got married a year ago, and I have no excuse why I haven't done it up till now. However, I had to go and change it because otherwise I won't be allowed into America. So yeah, I had to go and get that sorted. So I think I got to the passport office at about 10 AM. I had about a 4.5 hour wait, which I was aware of, which is pretty good because I didn't just have to like wait there for my passport. But what on earth were they doing? They're like making the paper themselves or something. Who takes 4.5 hours to make a passport? Wow, that is a long time. Okay, besides the point. So I went there, and in between me waiting for my passport, that is when I saw the movie. So we arrived at this cinema in Peterborough, and it was quite strange actually. So we went to go and queue up, and first off, there were so many little kids running around in princess outfits, which I absolutely loved. Oh my goodness, it just made me think, if I ever have a family of my own, that's me, okay? That is me in the cinema queue in a princess dress with like all my kids with me all dressed up. That is me, okay? So anyway, stood in the queue, and I did feel a little bit out of place because everybody was in like fancy dress and stuff. Well, anyway, the queue was pretty long, and I looked at the cinema times for the Beauty and the Beast movie, and I was thinking, oh, this is not looking good. This is gonna look like we're gonna miss the first one at least. But there were a few, so it was fine. They were all like every half an hour or so. Well, anyway, I noticed a card machine. So we got out of the queue, and this was, okay, after about a 20-minute wait in the queue. Well, we got out, we both went under the bars because there was no one at this card machine. Well, I wonder why there was no one at the card machine. That's because the card machine wasn't working. So we had to go and stand in the queue again. And I think after about 40 minutes, 45 minutes of standing in the queue and waiting, that is when we finally got to the front. And then, yeah, we bought our tickets. So, in the cinema, well, that was a nightmare because James decided it would be a fantastic idea to make me carry the nachos and the popcorn. So I sat down in our seats, spilt the popcorn and the nachos all over me, and it was incredibly embarrassing, but I did make James go and buy me some more. So yeah, that's basically what happened. But it was so awkward though, because even though I had like a brand new popcorn, which I was really happy with, well, there were so many people that were just looking at me. I don't know what they thought. Maybe they thought I was a rebellious person, like slamming my popcorn down the floor, just like throwing it all over the place. Or maybe they thought that I was a little bit crazy because I was just like surrounded in this just mountain of popcorn. Anyway, so the movie was absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to come back to the movie in a second. But yeah, basically watched the movie, loved it. That is the short story of that. Then got back to the passport office, and then the craziest thing happened. We were sat there in the car park, and I was ready to go into the passport office. I guess it was about 2 PM around this point. I honestly can't remember. So we were sat in the car, and all of a sudden, somebody starts knocking on the window. So James wound it down because Well, the thing is, if someone knocks on your car window, it's probably for a good reason. Like, maybe your tyres just burst or something. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. I don't think I've never came across a person whose tyres burst. However, sometimes people ask for directions and stuff, so I guess we just assumed that it was for that. Well, anyway, it was this very threatening man. And he was like dressed in this tracksuit. I don't have anything against tracksuits, by the way, because I wear tracksuits to the gym and, you know, whatever. But that's like besides the point. He was in like this grey tracksuit, just to give you a bit of background on him. Well, he leapt through the car. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, he basically put like both his arms through the car and stretched in. And then started threatening James for money. So I was incredibly frightened. And James tried to like put up the window. And yeah, he like basically did. And the man backed off a bit. I mean, the man was obviously like drugged up. I don't like to say it because it's obviously a family channel. However, this is exactly the reason why people shouldn't do drugs. So if anything, this is like, you know, a good thing to mention, because do not end up like this man. So yeah, anyway, I was very frightened, and he starts like circling the car after James puts the window up. And he was also giving me really strange looks outside the car. Really evil looks. I don't like to be overly dramatic with these stories, but they really do go over dramatic, and I can't help it. However, okay, the kind of look he was giving me, I think I've mentioned this sort of look before, but it was a look as if I'd have just stolen like every single penny out of his bank account. That kind of look. I would be mortified if someone stole all my money, and he was giving me that sort of look, this sort of evil, like revenge kind of look. I didn't like it. So anyway, I went inside, and of course I told the security what just happened, and I did that when I was like through the security checks and whatnot, and they actually went out, and I believe that the police got rang after I left, so not whilst I was there, but like afterwards. So anyway, I was there, I was in the queue, and another lady, like as I'm repeating the story to the security man, and he's looking at me a bit strangely as if maybe I'm the strange one, because this kind of stuff doesn't happen broad daylight in Peterborough. Well, a lady pipes up behind me and she says, "Oh my gosh, you just talking about that man outside? Yeah, he's just followed me all the way here, and he was really aggressive, and he was like threatening me for money." But yeah, so we were just having like a chat, and I didn't even know her, but I was just like stood there in the passport office chatting to this random lady, and it was actually really reassuring to know that it wasn't just me, as strange as that sounds, it was other people as well. So yeah, that happened. I was just like talking to people that had also had experiences with him. And that was it. As far as I know, he got escorted off the property. Apart from that though, I wanted to go over the movie. So I absolutely loved it. And the first thing I want to say is I spoke about my views, like what I liked and disliked when I was building a self-taught boarding house a few weeks ago for the Vampire Diaries. And a lot of you really like the fact that I didn't just say, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." I also told you the things that I wasn't too happy with. So I'm going to try that again in this video. I don't know how well it's going to go down. I hope that I'll be allowed an opinion, but I'd love to also know your opinions because they really matter to me, and yeah, I'd love to know what you think of the film yourself if you've been to go and see it. So yeah, spoiler alert, by the way, this is gonna get like into it now. So first thing I absolutely adored was the artwork. I don't know which category this would fall into, but just the overall decoration for the castle. I loved how they redid it. I loved the swirls as well. Like this like swirly gothic fantasy architecture. That's incredible. And honestly, I was thinking all the way through looking at the castle, this is going to be impossible for The Sims 4. I may as well not even attempt it because we don't have anything that's swirly, and that was really difficult. So I just had to leave out a lot of that, and it was sad. But hey, we can always hope for a stuff pack, but I'm not really expecting it, unfortunately. Just the backdrops, the costumes as well. One of my favourite characters was the wardrobe. I mean, I can't even remember the wardrobe in the actual original movie. I can't remember, but she was an absolute character. I loved her, and I was thinking all the way through, I wish I had a wardrobe like that. I mean, my wardrobe I had to wait 4 months for though, so you'll probably have heard that story by now if you've watched my other videos, because that was a nightmare. Well, apart from that, there were some things that really confused me. And I think, to begin with, one of the main things that confused me was the Gaston part. Now, I want to say as well that the actors and actresses were phenomenal. They looked the parts and they looked fantastic. And I really liked the person that played Gaston. I thought that he was really charming. And he was also an ass at the same time, which I love because that is Gaston. However, there were some times in it that having him look more human than he did sort of conflicted with the songs and stuff. So what I mean by that is, looking back, I don't know, maybe I'm looking too deeply into this, but as a child, I always thought the whole joke about Gaston was the fact that he was so self-absorbed and so many people just so obsessed with him that they didn't even realise that he's pretty close to a beast himself. Like, that's what I always thought growing up. So I thought the song, you know, like No One Fights Like Gaston, you know, that song. I'm not going to sing it because this is not what the channel's about. Let me just put my foot down on that one. It's the people almost questioning like, oh, no one fights like him. No one does this like him. He's a little bit strange. He's a little bit beast like himself. So I thought that was a joke. I don't know. I thought that that was the whole point of it, but maybe it wasn't. Well, that's why it confused me, because when he was picking people up, they were the same height as him. And I was just thinking, I feel like to get the point across, he needs to be bigger, like twice the size of everyone else. That's what I was thinking. I mean, this may just be me. Again, this is probably why I'm not directing films. So there you go. Just to let you all know, that's what I thought on that. So another thing about Gaston, which confused me slightly, a lot of the times when he says things that are inappropriate, he's often not saying them in Belle's line of hearing. For instance, when he's looking in the mirror, he's talking to himself or he's talking to his friend. And the thing is about that is the fact that when he did have interactions with Belle, it almost made it seem a little bit unjustified that she acted the way that she did, like slamming the gate on him and stuff. Because if someone was ridiculously like confident and stuff to me, let's say, just for an example, I'd probably just laugh and I wouldn't slam the gate on them or anything. I would be okay, but I'd just like laugh it off and just be like, thanks, but no thanks. I feel like he should have just like barged through, because that would have given the real impression like, wow, he's a really horrible person. And even though we know it because we're hearing the things in the movie, I don't know, that's just me. I think I had 3 things, but I guess that was like the second thing. Well, the last thing was the ending. I felt as if the ending was too close to the beginning, and I feel, me personally, like it would have been more effective to see a real change, like a real story progression there with the beast. And I know that he's found Belle at that point and they're happy and they're dancing and they're having fun, but I feel like it could have been more powerful. Like, for instance, when the castle finally opens up, maybe the whole ending could have been changed and the beast could have just said, actually, I'm happy by myself with Belle. Thanks, but no thanks. Like, that would have been crazy. Like, what a twist. I'm probably not great at explaining things, so watch out for that. Because that is me, though. I'm really bad at explaining things. Another thing is we're building this castle at night. So now back onto the castle, because I haven't really spoken about it. And we're about, 15, 20 minutes way through? I don't know. I may edit it, so it may be different. However, yeah, so the castle I built at night because I wanted to give the effect that it's darker and all that stuff. I actually tried to build it in the Forgotten Hollow, I think it's called. Well, I tried to build it there, but unfortunately the plot's too small, which is really heartbreaking because the world would have been perfect, because it's a really just misty fantasy type world, and with the right plot it would have been fantastic. And there is the big plot on the hill of Forgotten Hollow, and I was just wishing that that would be a 50 by 50 or 64 by 64, because that would have been amazing. But yeah, the only place that I could fit this castle was Windenburg again, so apologies. I'm hoping to be able to use it for my Let's Play though, Callywell Estate, so if you've been up to date with that, then yeah, you'll maybe be seeing it in the future. Maybe not straight away, but eventually it will be there. Another thing is, if you like Creator Sims, my really good friend Molly has done a Creator Sim of Belle, so I'm going to be leaving that in the description as well. So yeah, it was really weird. It was like a last minute collab. We both discovered that we were doing separate Beauty and the Beast inspired videos, so yeah, kind of makes sense. So to finish off, I tried to make the snowy look come alive. This sounds so strange. Oh my goodness. It's so late when I'm recording this, so it's like 1 a.m. in the morning and my husband's gone away for the night, so I'm just like stuck by myself in the house, and I thought, what can I do tonight? So all I've done today is re-edit all my thumbnails, because in case you don't know, I have massive commitment issues with my YouTube thumbnails. That's what I do in my spare time. I just like redo a bunch of thumbnails, and I also did my channel art, which I've been working on myself, so that's pretty cool. And then just editing this and doing voiceovers. So if I sound a bit strange tonight, like if my voice is a bit deep, then that's the reason. It's because it's ridiculously late and I always lose my voice. I lose my voice first thing in the morning and last thing at night. But yeah, anyway, I had so much fun building this, and I just want to say that if you've got any other suggestions, then let me know, because I really want to be able to do as many of your suggestions as possible. And if you see any suggestions that you like on this video, then thumbs them up, because I'll try and do those next. I want to do more Disney castles. So another thing is, it won't look like this, unfortunately, if you don't use the snow mod. Now, the snow mod is a phenomenal thing. It really is, and I would recommend it for anyone. This is a modded version of Get Together, so you get snow with it. I can honestly say my biggest fear with mods and using them was the fact that I was very worried that there'd be some person out there just out to get me, just like making me download a load of stuff and then just taking over my computer, which has never happened before actually. I've never had that situation where my computer hasn't been in my control. I think my granddad had that strangely. I don't know what he was doing, but he was just like on his computer, just in the house, and all of a sudden apparently got like taken over by this gang, and they were like, you're not allowed your computer back until you pay us, and blah blah blah. It's really sad when that happens, because I think a lot of the time it's pensioners. But I don't even know what he was doing, because honestly, I didn't even know he had a computer. So I don't even know how that happened. But yeah, anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all for the part 2, because the part 2 is going to be the interior of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you all soon.